This is James Anderson, an elder in our congregation and also a longtime physician. Part of what we're facing new in this situation is that those of us who don't do health care for a living have generally not been around things that we feared would do us in or harm us. We don't think much about contagion, but a longtime doctor's done this. He's been in places that were risky. And I wanted to ask him, James, as a disciple, how have you cared for people who actually put you at risk in some way, and what has that meant to you as a follower of Jesus?
When I went into medicine in the early 70s, my medical background was built on the shoulders of those who went before me. They were servants. There was no financial incentive to do medicine when my father went into medicine in the 1940s. Basically, he was asked to go into medicine just to serve people. And that's what I inherited. I know in my early training, when I was out in Amelia, there was a family doctor right there that I heard about from all the people. Dr. Hammond, he delivered 1,000 babies at home during his career.
That's amazing.
But he loved the people. He was accessible 24/7, setting fractures in people's homes, the farmers. And so that was a tremendous launch for me, what I inherited from those who had gone before me. So medicine was there to serve, so it was part of the turf. For the most part, colds and flu were just nuisances, and we did the normal things.
Right.
Washing our hands. One patient population was newborn or young children with bacterial meningitis. And whenever I do...
So when you say contagious meningitis, you mean that you could catch it just by being with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so when I do a spinal tap and I'd get back the results and it showed the bacteria in the spinal tap, but also we would measure the glucose. And if the glucose was normal, then we knew that there was going to be no brain damage. And every time I did that, God was so faithful, the glucose was normal. And it caused such a rejoicing.
Yeah.
That you knew the children were well and that you could tell the parents good news. But that rejoicing overshadowed any fear of catching the disease. And then in the late 80s, early 90s, HIV came on the scene. And we didn't know how contagious that was. But again, when people started worrying about the risk, I mean, your whole foundation was, we're here to serve. Let's do the precautions. And we knew it was in body fluids, but whether it was in tears and saliva and perspiration, we didn't know. But it just meant, no, this doesn't change a thing. We're here to serve. Hepatitis B was one infection. The surgeons just considered it normal to catch it. They're going to stick themselves in the operating room eventually, sewing up. But here again, the cultural influence, we're here to serve, and then the personal influence of Jesus Christ, we go forward. We love people.
Well, I mean, our culture's wanting us to be cautious, and we're risk averse anyway, so it helps us to hear another follower of Jesus who's been willing to risk for the sake of serving. So,
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, James.